You must show proof of your funds. You must be willing to offer guarantees if asked. You must commit to things in writing, and you must approach the whole process with transparency and professionalism. The seller probably is approaching it the same way. There are some business buying lessons from the big players, and I don't mean a private equity firm buying a $20 or $40 million deal. We're talking $70 billion deal. I'm John Martinka, and this is the Getting the Deal Done podcast, and welcome as we talk about lessons from the big players in business buying and obviously selling, because there has to be a seller for someone to buy. Now, those of us active in the buy-sell marketplace, not the middle market, but the lower middle market where it crosses over from individuals to professional buyers, we hear a lot of unrealistic explanations, also known as baloney, and I really don't mean baloney, from, we'll call them supposed individual buyers. Of course, all the statistics from when I got into this business a few decades ago have been at over 90% of supposed business individual buyers never buy. And I think that's as true as ever. And now they are called searchers because, let's face it, a lot of them search, but don't buy. You need to be a buyer. There's a tip. But here's some of the things I and others hear. Why do I need to sign a non-disclosure agreement? I don't even know if I want this company. What do you mean I have to provide proof of funds? I'll get the money. Why am I being asked for personal guarantee or collateral, such as home equity? And so what if I don't have any money? I'll find it if I like the deal. And tied to that is, so what if I don't have any skills? Someone's going to bet on me. So where am I going with this? Recently, December 10th to 15th, the Wall Street Journal had an article, one of many, on the Warner Brothers Discovery transaction that is a battle between Netflix and Paramount. Paramount being backed by the Ellison family, Larry Ellison, the founder of Oracle. And there's quite a number of points worth noting that apply to the lower middle market. So buyers, pay attention to these. It's how you're going to impress a seller. And seller, watch out for people who don't follow the right game plan and just want everything, as I mentioned above, not showing proof of money or being willing to guarantee anything, etc. Here's was a direct quote from Warner, I guess Warner Brothers Discovery to Larry Ellison. If you want to buy our business, sign on the dotted line yourself. There was concern about reliance on money in a family trust. Warner wanted a personal guarantee from Larry Ellison. No different than what we talk about in small transactions. If you're buying a business, you're going to make a personal guarantee. You're not a private equity fund with a big war chest, and the individuals don't do it. This is aimed at individual buyers. But even to, say, smaller end of professional buyers, Larry Ellison reported on 12/22/25 will sign a $40 billion personal guarantee. They were raising questions about Oracle's recent investments in AI and how its stock has gone down. Meaning those funds behind the deal aren't worth as much as they were a little while ago. So a seller, a bank, needs to understand your true source of funds. Paramount was asked to provide greater transparency regarding its funding commitments, all its funding commitments. In other words, clarity and credibility rule. 70 billion or a mom and pop business, clarity and credibility are important. Warner cited gaps, loopholes, and limitations in what documents they were provided, i.e. their offer. it reminds me, non-definitive language from a buyer is going to come back on the buyer. It's going to create risk, and it's going to weaken the buyer's position. And I was just looking recently, earlier today when I recorded this, at an offer on one of our clients' companies. It's from a major corporation, the in-house attorney, and I had highlighted numerous things, including when it came to the representations and warranties and indemnification. They didn't break out what are known as fundamental versus non-fundamental reps. There was no basket or bucket or deductible, whatever you want to call it. There was no limit, no dates, no statute of limitations, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Even the big players make mistakes. If you're in the smaller end of it, it will come back a lot more if you make those same mistakes. It's going to weaken your position. And then on this deal, the Warner Brothers deal, there was concern about the existing debt obligations and pledged stock by Oracle. So that's very similar to as an individual buyer having excessive personal debt is going to reduce your chances of getting to secure bank financing, because they don't want to get into a rat hole because you can't manage your money personally. So to close, whether the transaction is $70 billion, $70 million, or $7 million, the principles remain the same. You must show proof of your funds. You must be willing to offer guarantees if asked. You must commit to things in writing, and you must approach the whole process with transparency and professionalism. The seller probably is approaching it the same way, especially if they're represented by a quality intermediary, and you will elevate your standing if you do the same and act like a pro and like you know what you're doing. As a side, like this is a written part of this I put on my LinkedIn in December of 2025. You can see the written version there. And not welcome, but thank you for listening to the Getting the Deal Done podcast. I'm John Martinka.